Hello, I'm Dr. Arundhati Hoskeri. Today, let's dive deep into an interesting topic, the anatomy of trauma bond. Well, an experience of falling in love should include excitement, comfort, and safety. What if you unexpectedly fall for someone completely different? Imagine this. Your world changes from love and care to confusion, self doubt, and emotional turmoil. Initially, narcissists excel at making you feel appreciated. They are experts at charming you with the perfect words to make you think you have found the one and only one. Eventually, their disguise will fall and fail. Instead of affection, there is manipulation. Instead of admiration, control. Instead of warmth, cold indifference. You suddenly find yourself overwhelmed by constant worry, uncertainty, and deep longing for affection before you realize it. This talk is, in fact, an extract from my book, Signs You Are Dating a Narcissist. Check out the link to buy in the description if you wish to explore more. See, once you fall in love with a person, if you are thinking of a lifelong commitment, then you need to be completely watchful. Because these days I'm observing so many people come out with problems because initially they get carried away without understanding the person. They get into relationship, they get married and suffer. So I don't have to expand more on that. You just open Google or just a newspaper and see the things, what kind of relationship somewhere the people are, like there's a lot of, I counsel a lot of couples, so I know this thing. So anyway, I hope you like this video. Thank you.
Let's dive right into today's explainer. We're unpacking the mechanics of toxic relationships, drawing directly from Dr. Arundhati Hoskeri's really insightful book, Signs You're Dating a Narcissist. To kick things off, let's tackle a question that absolutely puzzles anyone looking at a damaging relationship from the outside. You know the exact scenario. Friends and family are always wondering, well, why don't they just leave if they're being treated so poorly? Look, it's not just a matter of willpower. There's actually a very deep, very real psychological mechanism at play here. And that mechanism is a trauma bond. Essentially, this is a strong, deeply rooted emotional attachment that develops between a person and someone who repeatedly harms, manipulates, or mistreats them. It happens when periods of control or abuse get confusingly mixed up with periods of affection or apologies. And it's exactly that toxic mix of affection and mistreatment that creates these invisible chains. Here's where it gets really wild. Because of this extreme back and forth, your brain falls into a totally counterintuitive trap. It literally begins to associate the feeling of relief and those tiny occasional moments of kindness with actual safety. Your brain mistakes a brief pause in the bad behavior for genuine security, making walking away feel incredibly difficult, even when logically you know the relationship is damaging. Now, this kind of trap doesn't just happen by accident. It's built chronologically in three highly predictable steps. First, you have the intense courtship. Second, the attachment gets firmly locked in. And third, there's a sudden shift to unpredictable withdrawal and criticism. So let's break down how step one actually works. In those early days, you're hit with an absolute tidal wave of attention and affection. We call this love bombing. They shower you with praise, gifts, intense affection, until it feels absolutely amazing. But as Dr. Hoskeri points out, this isn't just genuine romance. It's a highly calculated phase designed to establish a deep emotional dependency as quickly as humanly possible. But once that trap is firmly set, everything changes. That perfect version of the partner you fell for just vanishes. Out of nowhere, they become critical, distant, and intensely controlling. And the scariest part is that this shift isn't a slow fade. It's jarring, sudden, and incredibly confusing. Picture the pure confusion of this scenario. They just stop showing up for you. They won't pick up your call, even if they are sitting right next to their cell phone. After months of nonstop, devoted attention, they are now actively choosing to ignore you. And instead of a loving, normal conversation, you might just get a completely cold, dismissive message like, "I'm busy with my friends, can't take your call." It leaves you totally off balance, right? You end up agonizing over what you possibly did wrong to cause this sudden freeze out. But then, right when you're terrified of losing the relationship entirely, they reappear. They come walking back in with sweet talk and apologies for being out of touch. This sudden return of affection creates this massive surge of relief, giving you the false hope that your loving partner is finally back for good. It's intermittent reinforcement in action, and it is incredibly powerful. To maintain this vicious cycle, they use a specific arsenal of manipulation tactics. Beyond just the love bombing and withdrawal, we see a lot of gaslighting, literally making you doubt your own perceptions and reality. They also isolate you from supportive friends or family to cut off any outside perspective, and they'll constantly alternate between approval and sudden withdrawal. Oh, and another massive tactic, blame shifting. To dodge any kind of accountability, they'll flip the script and throw phrases at you like, well, you made me act this way, or you're just headstrong. Suddenly, they've manipulated the situation so you feel entirely at fault for their bad behavior. The truly tragic result of this relentless cycle is that over time, you become entirely preoccupied with just regaining their affection. You're constantly chasing that initial love-bombing high, so you start minimizing the harmful behavior, pouring all of your mental energy into fixing a dynamic that you didn't even break. We have to get one thing straight here. A trauma bond is not healthy love. It's not loyalty. Healthy relationships are built on a solid foundation of consistency, respect, accountability, and emotional safety. Trauma bonds, they thrive on confusion, fear, and unpredictable rewards. They are fundamentally opposites. So how do we actually break free? Well, it takes concrete action. You've got to create physical and emotional distance from that abusive cycle. Counter the isolation by getting support from trusted people in your life. Set rigid, clear boundaries and absolutely seek professional counseling to help untangle that psychological grape. Ultimately, as Dr. Hoskeri notes, simply recognizing this pattern is your very first and absolutely most important step toward recovery. Seeing the love bombing and the withdrawal for the trap that it truly is takes away its power. If you can spot these signs early on, the smartest, healthiest choice is to just walk away. I'm going to leave you with a really important question to reflect on today. Is your relationship built on consistent emotional safety, or is it built on unpredictable rewards and fear? It's a heavy thought, but answering it honestly is essential for your well-being. Thanks for joining this explainer, and always remember to look for the true hallmarks of healthy love.